Hi, this is Janet Eifred. In this video I'm going to show you how to divide with the Busstop method, long division and short division. So we are going to start off by learning how to divide and get a remainder. That's the starting point with lots of practice on that. Okay, let's get started. We're going to divide by 2, and this is the remainder patterns for dividing by 2. Now in the workbook I will have these for every single division, 1, 2, dividing by 9, because that is what we need up to be able to do our long division. Okay, so let's look. 1 times 2 is 2, so 2 divided by 2 is 1, as we learned in the division 1 video. But now what happens if we have a 3? Because it's only 4 that's again in my times table. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. In other words, 3 divided by 2 is going to be 1 remainder 1. Okay, in this worksheet, in this video, I don't really go into division as they do in schools where they would count objects. But let's quickly check that you understand that 1, 2, 3. If I have 3 and I have to divide it by 2, there's 1 for you, 1 for me, but there's going to be 1 left over. That 1 left over, we call that the remainder. Let's look at 5. If we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We divide the 5 by 2. There's 1 for me, 1 for you. 1 for me, 1 for you. But now there's 1 left over, so that is our remainder. Now you can see that my remainder will never be greater than 1. My remainder can only be 1 when I divide by 2, okay? So if I would divide by 4, my remainder can only be less than 4. If I divide by 5, my remainder can only be less than 5, and so on. So let's look. This is a pattern. 1, 1, remainder 1, 2, 2, the remainder 1. What is 6 divided by 2? We know that that is 3. What is 7 divided by 2? It is 1 more than 6, so 3, remainder 1. Okay, you try to fill it in. Pause the video to do that. Please don't just fill it in blindly and think this is a pattern, I know what it is, and it just doesn't work like that. You don't learn like that. Please try to figure it out every time. Think it is 1 more than that, so it is that and that. Okay? Pause the video, your turn. There's your answers. Please check. Please make sure you can also do them when you ask them individually and not in the pattern, okay? Pause the video. Now we're going to mix it up, and we're going to still going to give you lots of practice here on these sheets on your 2 times table where there is no remainder. If we look down here, there is 1 that's going to give us a remainder because it's not even. 21 divided by 2. What does that give you? We know that 20 divided by 2 is 10. In other words, that's 1 more than 20. So it's going to be 10 remainder 1. Okay? It's your turn. Pause the video and you do the rest. There you go. There's your answers. Pause the video and check. Now we're going to start to learn long division and short division. If we have something like 52 divided by 2. I'll show you later in the video also very fast mental methods to do it. 2 goes in 5 how many times? Twice. 2 times 2 is 4, so there's a remainder of 1. Okay? 2 goes in 12 how many times? 6. So my answer is 26. How will I do this with long division? How does long division work? Let me show you. 2 goes in 5 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. Now to work out our remainder, we will take away 5 take away 4 is 1. Now this is the remainder, the same as there. Now you bring down the 2 next to the remainder. Now you say 2 goes in 12. How many times? 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And we take away 12, take away 12 is 0. In other words, there isn't another number to bring down, so we are finished, and the remainder is 0, so it divided imperfectly. Now you might ask, why would I follow this method when I can follow the short division so much easier? It's because we are later going to divide by a number like 41 or 29. And then it's going to be very hard to work out a remainder in your head. So therefore it's easier to work out remainders here when you subtract, okay? So it is important also if you want to do A-level maths, you need to know how to do this, because you're going to divide algebra expressions, which will be very important that you know this. And I can see many students for A-levels who cannot actually do this. So please learn it. You will certainly know something a lot of other people don't know. Okay, you try the next one. Pause the video. Now there you go, there's your answer. We've already done this one. Make sure you can do this one too. Goes in 1 how many times? It cannot, so it's 0. 0 times 2 is 0. We take away to get our remainder 1, which is the same as the remainder there. We bring down the 1. Now we have the 11, which we had there. And now you say 2 goes in 11 how many times? It's 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Now we take away 11, take away 10 to get the remainder of 1. Then you bring down your 4 next to the remainder. We've got our 14, which we have here in our short division, also the 14. And then you think 7 goes into this 14 twice. In other words, 7 times 2 is 14. We take away to get our remainder, and we get a 0, nothing. There isn't another number to bring down, so you are finished. The answer, 57. Okay, pause the video if you still want to look at this sheet. Now, a bit of a longer division here. Please try this. Short division, very quick and easy. You know you should learn the long division. Please try it. It's your turn. Pause the video. Okay, let's do this together now. 2 goes in 7 how many times? 3. 3 times 2, 6. 7 take away 6, 1. Bring down the 0. 2 goes in 10 how many times? 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 take away 10 is 0. That's our remainder. Bring down the 2. We have 2. 2 goes in 2 how many times? 1. 1 times 2, 2. 2 take away 2, 0. Bring down the 6 next to that remainder. 2 goes in 6 how many times? 3. 3 times 2, 6. 6 take away 6, 0. There isn't another number to bring down. We had a remainder of 0, so it divided in perfectly. Our answer is 3513. Now, could you easily do this with short division? I believe so. 2 goes in 7, 3. Remainder 1. 2 goes in 10, 5. 2 goes in 2, 1. 2 goes in 6, 3. If there was another 0 here, 2 goes in 0, there would have been a 0, okay? Pause the video if you still want to try this. Okay, I've already done this with you, but that is the way I show the answers to you in my workbook, so you can exactly see what you're doing and hopefully learn at the same time. Okay, pause the video if you want to look at this. Now I'm just giving you we're practicing that in that order in the workbook. Then I gave you a mixture of divisions. So you're going to follow your, probably here we would be lazy and just follow short division, okay? Because that's what we will really do when we halve a number. Let's look at the second one here, 56. And you would write that in your Busstop method. 2 goes in 5 how many times? Twice. The remainder is 1. Okay, 2 goes in 16, 8. Now what I want you to be very careful here when you write this on your own without the grid. That's why I give you those grids to practice, so you can learn to write a number on a number. So the 2 needs to be on top of the 5, the 8 needs to be on top of the 6. Really try to write your numbers on top of each other. Otherwise, make a little grid for yourself, because you are going to make mistakes if you don't do that. And we can easily check our answers by multiplying. 21 times 2. We can just think of 21 plus 21 is 42. Yeah? 28 times 2, you can think of 20 times 2 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16. 40 plus 16 will give you 56. As I showed you in the multiplication videos. How to do multiplication quickly, mentally in your head. Okay? Pause the video, it's your turn. There's your answers, please check. Pause the video. Now, in this video I cannot go through every single remainder pattern sheet with you, but we are going to do division by 5 now. We know that 1 times 5 is 5, and we know that 2 times 5 is 10. But between 5 and 10 we have 6, 7, 8 and 9. In other words, what happens if we take those numbers and divide it by 5? Let's see. 6 divided by 5 would be 1 remainder 1. 7 divided by 5 would be 1 remainder 2. 8 divided by 5, 1 remainder 3, because 8 is 3 more than 5. 9 is 4 more than 5. And once we get to 10, it divides in perfectly again. In other words, it would be 2. Can you see that that would be 2 remainder 1? And so on. Okay? As before, don't fill this in blindly, please. Try to learn from this. You need to be good in your times tables to work out reminders. Okay? It's your turn. Pause the video. There you go. There's the answers. Please check them. And for all the other reminder patterns, please see my workbook. Okay, now we're going to do mixed division. We're going to learn our times tables really well with this. Let's look, which one shall I do with you? We know that 45 is in my 5 times table, so it will simply be 9. There will be no remainder there. What would be 21 divided by 5? We know that 20 divided by 5 is 4. In other words, 21 is 1 more than 20. Our remainder will be 1. Okay, if you have 20, I divide by 5. We know that our 5 times table go, there's 25 and then it's 30. And this is 5 times 5 and that is 6 times 5. So 20 I divide by 5 will be the 5. And 28 is 3 more than the 25. So my remainder will be 3. Okay? It's your turn, you do the rest. There's your answers. Please check them now, pause the video. Now, are we going 2. Do you think you can do these long divisions and short divisions on your own now? If you feel, you can pause the video now and try them. Let's look short division. 5 goes in 8 how many times? Once. My remainder is 3. Okay, 5 goes in 35 how many times? 7. So my answer is going to be 7. Now you know the importance of doing the long division. We need to learn that. 5 goes in 8 how many times? Once. 1 times 5, 5. We take away to get our remainder. 8 take away 5 is 3. That is my remainder. I bring down the 5. Now 5 goes in 35 how many times? 7. 7 times 5, 35. Take away to get our remainder. It is nothing. There isn't another number to bring down next to my remainder. In other words, we are finished. That's our answer, and there was no remainder, so it's just 17. Okay, you do the next one on your own, and pause the video. Now there you go, there's the answers. Please check. Can you see those remainders? 2, 2, 28, 28, 3, 3, then 30 and 30. The long division isn't that hard if you can do the short division. Most of my students can learn the short division. They find this really hard. Hopefully, watching this will help all of you to learn this method. Pause the video if you want to look more. Okay, there is a 4-digit number we have to divide by 5. I'm pretty sure by now you can do the short division on your own. You can try the long division now by pausing the video, and then I will work with you through this. 5 goes in 4 how many times? That is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. 4 take away 0 is 4. So my remainder is 4. I bring down the 7 next to the remainder. I have 47. 5 goes in 47 how many times? 9. 9 times 5 is 47. Oopsie. What is 9 times 5? Not 47. 9 times 5 is 45. Now we take away. 7 take away 5 is 2. That is my remainder. I bring down the next number next to my remainder. 26. 5 go in 26 how many times? 5. 5 times 5, 25. We need to take away to get our remainder. 6 take away 5 is 1. Bring down the next number next to my remainder, 0. 5 goes in 10 how many times? Twice. 2 times 5, 10. 10 take away 10, 0. Bring down the next. There isn't a next one to bring down. In other words, we are finished. Our answer, 952. Remember, this 0 there was a placeholder. It's very important to help you not to make a mistake. But a number can never start with a 0, except if it's before a decimal point, then it is a very useful 0. Otherwise, if there isn't other number before the 0, you don't need that number, yeah? Okay, pause the video and you try the short division now. There's the answers as it is in the workbook. Please make sure you understand how to do this. And for more practice, go to the workbook. Now we've got our divisions here mixed up. In other words, you will have to do these on your own then. 65 divide by 5. I do recommend practicing the long and short division here. 5 goes in 6. 1 remainder 1. 5 goes in 15, 3. So my answer is 13. When we divide, because dividing can be tricky, we would like to check our answers. 13 times 5. Now 10 times 5 is 50. 3 times 5 is 15. In other words, the answer is 65, which is what we had there, so it is correct. Okay, pause the video, it's your turn. There you go, there's your answers. Pause the video and check them. Now we are going to... This is already page 42 of your workbook. So I want you to know that every single division up to 9 is in the workbook with all the grids to practice. But at the moment I want to... Because I get students for mental math tests, some of them really struggle with halving a number in their head. So I want to look at how can you halve a number in your head, but also if you couldn't do that and you have a pencil and paper, why not quickly write it down if that works better. So we're going to practice both of these methods, and the more you do it and the more you practice it, the faster you will get on this, okay? What is half of 24? Think what is half of 20 is 10. What is half of 4? 2. In other words, it is 10 and 2 is 12. Okay? 2 goes into 1, 2 goes in 4, 2. Okay? As simple as that. Obviously, you can have reminders also. That is also possible. But quickly pause the video. Try to do this as fast as you can. Okay, there you go. There's your answers. Please check them now. Pause the video. Now we are going to have odd numbers here. So this is the first time I will talk about decimal division. Okay? Let's look. What is half of 20 is 10. What is half of 5? That is 2.5. In other words, what is that together? 12.5. 2 goes into 1. 2 goes in 5. 2. Remainder 1. Now, people will say the answer is 12 remainder 1. That is okay for when you learn division, but usually we don't like to talk about 12 remainder 1. That is just for when you're in primary school and you haven't done decimals yet. Now, if we start to do decimals or you work with money, which is decimals, we want to put a 0 after the 25 because it's the same. 25 is the same as 25.0 or another 0, because think of pounds, if that is pounds and pounds, or any money, whatever your money is, dollars or dollars. Yeah, you can put zeros after, it's still the same amount, but there need to be a point. Okay, so here we need a point and a 0 because we had a remainder of 1. 2 goes in 10, 5. But now if we had a decimal point there, we just need the point there as well. In other words, 12.5. Okay? Now you try to do the rest, pause the video. There you go, there's your answers. Pause the video and check them. Now, as I do with most of my workbooks, I end with word problems because you need to know those key words that means division. So you can get really confident on your dividing, even if the sum is in the form of a word problem. Okay, so read through this, see if you can do them on your own. Pause the video now. There's the answers. Please pause the video and check. Now, at this point, we've reached the end of this video. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something in this video. Please download the workbook for really good practice. And please also look at my next video where I would continue dividing as I did here. I will do more examples of dividing by 1 digit. Then we will move on to divide by 2 digits. and we will also divide with decimals. Okay, thank you so much for listening.